We're good. All right. So I'm going to take my mask down just for presentation purposes. But for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Andrea Hebert. I'm the executive director for the Glen. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, thumbs up. Great. So just to give you a little background on myself, I actually started in finance and was able to work on the original development of the Glen, and have known Corey since she started, but I only started in this role, executive director here, in 2015. And then now I actually have the dual role of vice president for Eddy Senior Living. So the Glen is a joint venture between the Eddy and the Glen at Highland Meadow, or excuse me, the Eddy and the Conkling Center. And we have a 10-member board of directors. And so Eddy Senior Living actually provides a lot of the services to support us here at the Glen. So that's just a quick intro of me. And then I would like to quickly turn it over to Valerie. So Valerie Gabriel is a senior living specialist here at the Glen. She is going to be our master of ceremonies, so to speak, today. So thank you all for joining.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. As Andrea said, I'm Valerie Gabriel. I'm one of the senior living specialists here at the Glen at Highland Meadows. And today we have some guest speakers here to talk about. We have Erin Sipowicz from Howard Hanna Real Estate, and she's going to talk about selling your home in today's market. And then we also have Lori and Michelle here from Organized Senior Moves, who help with downsizing for these types of moves. And then also we have some residents here. We have Jenny and Bobby Bradwell. We have Esther Dansky, and we have Joyce Kirkpatrick, who are going to join us just to talk about their experience living here at the Glen. So we're going to keep everybody muted just so we can cut down the background noises. And then when we're done with the presentation, we'll open up to any questions that you may have. So our first presenter is going to be Erin Sipowicz, and she's from Howard Hanna Real Estate.
Hello. My name is Erin Sipowicz. I'm a local realtor. I'm a local girl. I grew up in Glens Falls. I've been in real estate about 10 years. So kind of going over everything lately. The housing market, I'm sure you've heard, has been crazy. For sellers, it's been absolutely amazing. There is not a time where you'll get more money for your house than you will now. When COVID hit, we kind of shut down completely, and it was really a big question of, what was going to happen to the housing market? Were we going to, be really stagnant? Were we going to really take off? When they lowered the interest rates, the housing market took off like a firestorm. We saw a lot of people moving upstate from downstate. They didn't need to go into the office anymore. They could work remotely. They were originally from here, or they had family here, friends here. They had traveled here, vacationed here, and decided this was a place that they could live and raise a family and work remotely. With that, and like local people moving in general, we saw a huge influx of buyers. We have been in an inventory shortage for about 5+ years. So this created a humongous seller's market. The housing prices have gone up 20 to 25% pre-COVID. So anything that we priced before COVID went up 20,000, 30,000. And those were just kind of starting prices, because what's been happening is when we list a house on the market, before the sign goes up, we have tons of showings. We get into multiple offers. They waive inspections, they waive appraisals. We are in multiple offers. 9 times out of 10, they're going for over asking. Your starting price is a starting price. It's really a how bad do you want it market. It's really tough for buyers right now. For FHA, for VA, it's incredibly frustrating and difficult because you're competing, with a lot of cash and conventional buyers. There's just a lot of money right now and a lot of people bidding on the same house. So in all honesty, if you're ever thinking about selling, now is the time. Personally, my parents have been on the fence about selling for the past 2 years. And I'm like, find an apartment to rent because you're never going to get more for your house than you will now. Now is the time to sell. Like I said, for buyers, it's been extremely difficult, but for sellers, it's, as long as you have a place to go, it's fantastic. And like I said, it's people, it's local people, but it's a lot of people moving from downstate. You know, we have a lot to offer here. We have 4 seasons. You know, we have mountains, we have lakes, we're close to Montreal, we're 3 hours from New York City. We have great schools. Glens Falls has been a really big hotspot for us. They like downtown, they like the walkability, the parks, the elementary schools. Queensbury, you know, you get a bigger house, you get more land. The schools are great. Lake George, people can vacation. You're close to everything. So we are seeing a huge influx of people from downstate. And the housing prices here compared to downstate, I mean, they're willing to throw a ton of money at houses. There's also a lot of speculation as to how long this is going to last and what's going to happen with the market. There's a lot of differing opinions, like, are we in a bubble? Are we not in a bubble? And I think that kind of varies from person to person. I don't really know if this is a bubble. It's not going to be a housing crash like we saw in the early 2000s. I think that as the interest rates kind of go up, the housing market will start to calm a little bit. I think here it's a little bit different because we've been in such an inventory shortage for such a long period of time. And I think, like Glens Falls, there's only so many houses. You really can't build anywhere. So it is what it is. But I don't think we're going to have a housing crash. I think that it kind of will start to slow a little bit. So, you know, in short, like, if you've been on the fence about selling, now is a really big opportunity for you. You know, with the prices of the way they are, with buyers so willing to waive inspections, to waive appraisals, to go all cash, to beat out other offers, and, you know, your starting price, which is well above where it typically would have been, and then going over that with multiple offers, you know, now is your time. It's a big opportunity. So that's kind of where I am. Anyone have any questions or anything? Sure. So with cash, typically it could be like 30 days. However, everyone's super backed up right now. I'm sure you guys are crazy. Attorneys are backed up, title companies are backed up. So with that 30 days has kind of come and gone. It's definitely being extended out to maybe like 45 to at least 2 months. Just because, you know, our attorneys can't get to closings in time. Title companies have a stack of titles with the market as crazy as it is. So that's being pushed out. So it used to be, you know, we can close in 3 weeks. Now it's 30 to 45 days. Banks are busy, movers are busy, attorneys are busy, inspectors are busy, appraisers. It's just, yeah, it's been very busy. Anything else?
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
All right. Thank you.
My mask.
Thank you. Thank you, Erin. That was some great information. If, like I said, if you have questions, we'll open those up at the end. We'll move right along to our next presenters. We have Lori and Michelle from Organized Senior Moves.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are extremely busy because the housing market is so great. And our phone is ringing off the hook lately, just since COVID is kind of like had a little bit of leeway, that it's getting a little bit easier to function in life now because so many people have been vaccinated. So we are here from Organized Senior Moves Saratoga. And what we do is we facilitate the entire move process for anyone thinking about moving, thinking about just downsizing, staying in place. We handle everything from the downsizing, the sorting, helping you get rid of things, helping you decide what to take if you're definitely moving. If you're a senior and moving to the Glen, which is a fabulous place for seniors with a lot of things to offer for, as being in an elderly age. There's a lot of socialization in places like this, senior living. And we help with the move-in. We help with packing, we help with unpacking and setting an apartment completely up. The first thing we want to talk about is when you're living in a family home that you may be thinking about selling, it could have 3, 4, 5 bedrooms. So basically, if you're going to be moving to a smaller senior living community, you may be having 1 or 2 bedrooms. So sorting and downsizing so many bedrooms in your house can be overwhelming. How many pieces of furniture are going to fit in your new apartment, and what can you take, and how are you going to get rid of the things that you're not going to take? That's why it's very important for the floor plan. Our next slide is how long have you been in your house? 10 years, 25 years, 50 years. The longer that you're in your home, you're accumulating more stuff, more pictures, more books, everything in every room you have more of. Okay, so the longer that you've lived in a home, everybody has stuff, whether it's in the garage, the basement, or the attic. Sometimes people don't even realize that there's things there. So knowing how much you have in the home can be overwhelming. Next slide is we meet people a lot of times, Michelle and I, we get a phone call saying that I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed. This is emotional. I've been in my home for 30, 40, 50 years. I've raised my children, and moving out of a neighborhood that you've been in for 30, 40, 50 years is emotional, as far as, you know your neighbors, the house really well, but you may have stairs that is just too much to handle anymore, and overwhelming as far as doing the lawn and the maintenance outside can be very stressful. So that's where Senior Moves comes in. We help you downsize and pack and move, and we make it easy. Next slide is how do I get rid of all my stuff? Right here you see just a junk drawer. We say start small. We say take one junk drawer out when you're watching the evening news and just go through it. There's probably things in there you haven't seen in 20 years. Do you need it? Do you use it? And if you don't, organize it, put everything back in that you think you're going to need or use. Everything else can be tossed or given away. Next slide is how much is in your closet. We see closets every day, overflowing, cramped, crowded. The clothes that are in there, do you wear them? Do they fit you? Do you like them? I can't tell you how many times Michelle and I see closets with tags on. People they purchase clothes and they don't even use them. They don't even wear them. So now's the time, a great time for donating. Donating is a fabulous thing to do. Just put a bag or a box in your closet. Get rid of anything that you haven't touched in at least 3 years. Trust us, you're never going to wear it. And in the sorting process and the downsizing, we help people every day of the week. Our staff is fabulous. We usually start with 3 piles. Things that you want to give to your kids, family, anyone who might want decorative items or photos. And then a keep box, anything that you're not using on a daily basis could be boxed away, getting ready and preparing for a move. And then the last pile would be donatable. Right up here in Glens Falls, you have a great Habitat for Humanity, Salvation Army. There's so many places that could use the donated items that you're going to not use. And it's also a tax write-off. How many cabinets do you have now in your kitchen? You've probably raised families, had many large dinner parties and family gatherings for the holidays. And now if you're moving to a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, you're probably going to have less than half of the cabinets. Okay, so open up those kitchen cabinets. Think about how often you use things. There might be a big crock pot, a large turkey roaster that you're no longer using. Those are great items either to give to your children or to donate. You may have a large garage that right now that you can fit 1 or 2 cars in. There's probably a lawnmower, there's probably old paint cans, coolers, bicycles, things that you may have not used in many years. Great time to give away to maybe neighbors or friends, and also things that you can donate. Okay, and usually when you're moving to a senior community, you may or may not have a small garage. So right now, these are the things that you need to get rid of. The average move takes about 70 to 100 boxes. That's about 250 just in boxes alone. When you hire Organized Senior Moves and we're working with you, we provide all the boxes and all of the supplies needed to pack up your move. We take care of that for you. As you can see in this photo, there's a van that we use for all of our moves. We come in with all our boxes and all our wrappings, and we pack everything in one day. We have a great staff that works very speedily. We go through and we wrap everything in a house in one day. Then on pack day, we come in with all the boxes and we pack everything except what you need overnight. You can sleep in your house, you can live there. We just leave what you need overnight. Everything else is ready for your move the next day. Move day is a very busy day for Organized Senior Moves. We usually tell our clients to go out, have fun, do something exciting, do something nice, maybe with a family member or your children, go to lunch while we're doing all the work. Usually we start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 5 o'clock at night, we invite you into your new home and we have everything set up. We make it really easy. We make the bed, we hang the art, we hook up your electronics. And that's the beauty of using Organized Senior Moves. Moving to a senior community can be daunting, just thinking about moving, but it's a great thing when you're older and you want to, have less responsibility as far as a family home. And the Eddy is a great place to meet new friends, do a lot of socializing, and not have to worry about the stresses of having a home. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, and we'll hand it back off to the residents.
I think somebody has a question, Jane Brockway.
Yes, I do. If you're moving from a distant place, not just a local move, do these people come? Well, we live in New England, in lower New England, Rhode Island. Would they come a distance to help?
Hi there. So we don't actually come to New England, but we are part of a national association of senior move managers. So we are able to connect you with another company that's very similar to ours that would be able to come to you and do the sorting, the downsizing, and the packing process. And then they are able to hand it off to us. We've been in connection the whole time that they're getting you ready. And we're still able to set you up just like we normally would using their pictures. So no, we don't come to you, but we can connect you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So now we're going to hear from some of our residents and what their experience has been like moving here to the Glen at Highland Meadows. So first we have Jenny and Bobby Braswell, and they have been living here at the Glen since 2017. So if you wouldn't mind, could you share with us and tell us how you come to live at the Glen, your decision for moving to the Glen?
Certainly. Can you hear me? Good. I used to speak loud enough so everyone can hear me. So, I guess our first contact with independent living, senior living communities was about 22 years ago when my uncle moved to a community in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I was shocked because he had such a beautiful home and he was so young, 78 years old. And why was he moving? After he moved, he really enjoyed it. And Jenny and I have visited that community so many times. And it was fabulous because they moved early and they were able to enjoy the activities there. So from that point, Jenny and I did a lot of research and visited at least 6 different communities in Virginia, in North Carolina, in New Hampshire, and a few other places. Where we didn't visit, we went online to a website to look at that community and see how that community looked to us. In the end, we said, hey, the best ones we've seen so far is about 2 miles from where we live. So we ended up here at the Glen, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Great, thank you, thank you. So can you tell me the benefits of living here at the Glen that you've enjoyed over the
You're
years?
not going to talk?
Okay, I can talk.
Okay.
I love to talk.
All right. Well, there are a lot of benefits, and I'll tell you my point of view, and Jenny can tell. The most important benefit to us, of course, are the people here. And I mean people, I mean the staff as well as the other residents. It is a fantabulous group of people. And so we're very happy to be here. And one of the main reasons I said we're here because of the people. And we're pleased with that.
Jenny?
Okay, I'm going to supplement what the Glen benefit. Well, like my husband said, we spent almost 9 years do all the research about independent living. And then we went to, like my husband said, went to North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, New Hampshire, Vermont. And we went to those facilities to check out the environment, the staff, the food, and the residents. Oh, cannot hear me? That means I have to start over again? Yeah. Oh, good. because I don't know what I talk about. So finally we've decided, like my husband said, Glen is our ideal home. So that's why we make this decision to come over here.
Thanks.
And more questions?
If you had any advice for people looking to move to the Glen, what advice would you give them?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
May I go?
first, yes.
As I said, I learned from my uncle who moved to a senior living community when he was 78, and that was young. So my advice is move when you're young and you're able to enjoy the activities and the neighbors and all the things going on. Don't wait until it's too late. Move earlier rather than later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I would like to supplement what my
Well, of
husband
course.
said.
Absolutely.
Well, of course.
Well, the benefit from moving to the Glen to me is we create a life of freedom. The life of freedom that I really enjoy is because moving to the Glen independent living, we have minimum work for the house and almost no worry about the house, especially we take trips. Before I stay late at night to make sure the house, everything okay before we can leave. And now we just pack and leave the house and we're happy because we know our homes are being taken care of. That's the freedom of life. And then simplicity without a downsizing, like earlier said, we declutter everything, downsize everything, make our life so simple. Simplicity is our new life in the independent living. That's what we really enjoy. Because, you know, we are getting older and older every day. And then more the thing we accumulate, one day when we are gone, our kids are going to take care of everything for us. That's a lot of work for them. I rather now, like the downsizing people say, we when we move to the Glen, we take the things that we really, really need. We take the things we really, really want, and then let the other good things. Every family have their good things, every family, but we let the other people enjoy it. Let them continue to enjoy what we have been enjoying. It is a good feeling because that's a good deed. I think that's a very good. That's what I think benefit from the Glen, and plus all the activities they have here, all different levels of exercise for us to keep us moving. And then let us have a happy hour twice a week, get to know all the residents, and going out to dinner, and all the education lectures and all the activities will keep us moving, keep us active. That is very important because interactions, not like in the house, you worry about a house, worry about that. I think that's a freedom of life. Sorry, I've talked too much.
Thank you. Thank you. And next we have Esther Dansky, and she's lived with us since 2019. And Esther, can you tell us about your decision to come and live here at the Glen?
Gladly. My husband was a long-term diabetic and passed away in 2029, and I still had the townhouse and so forth, and I had friends over here at the Glen. And I would come over for lunch once in a while. And at one of those times, Barb Ruderman, I was introduced to, and she said, well, I see you here. Would you like to be on our wait list? And I said, I'm not ready for that. Well, you could be on our wait list. So I got on the wait list in about 2014. And Barb would call me 2 or 3 times a year. And she'd say, Esther, I've got a place I'd like to have you look at. And I would say, but Barbara, I'm not ready. And this went on until 2019. And it had been kind of a different winter and so forth. And she called one January day and she said, Esther, you've got to take this apartment. It's just everything you've been asking for. It's on the first floor. It's on the front of the building, all these other things I had said I wanted. I said, I'll be over the next day. I came over the next day with checkbook in hand, and that's how I got to the Glen. But I moved in May because this apartment had been rented for 5 years, and they redid the entire apartment for me, and I've been a happy camper ever since. And the people, to quote Bobby or whoever, Jenny, that was speaking a few minutes ago, the staff is fantastic. They do everything possible to make life pleasant. And you get up on a snowy morning and you have a dentist appointment and you think, oh dear, how am I going to get out of here? One of the maintenance men will be out cleaning your car off and starting it for you if you don't have a garage. And responsibility, your ice maker doesn't work, pick up the phone and call. One of the maintenance men will be there to give you a helping hand. You don't have the responsibility that you had at home when you get a leaky roof or something of that nature. I've made a very good choice.
Thank you. Thank you. And next we're going to move on to Joyce Kirkpatrick, and she has also lived with us since 2019. And can you share your experience with us, please, about moving here to the Glen?
Yes, I moved here not quite 2 years ago, and I had my mother had been moved to an independent living place in Michigan, and she moved in when she was 91, and I felt for her, as she did too at the time, that was too late because she was losing her eyesight and she didn't get as acclimated as she could have had she moved sooner. And so I knew that, I was on my own and I was tired of cooking and doing some of the things. And I thought, I'm just going to come over and see what's going on. And I decided that I would come now. I'm from this community, so I have friends outside of the Glen as well as here, so I could come and go as I wanted. And because last year with the pandemic, of course, that meant we didn't see our friends outside the Glen, but there were people here to do things with. There were things that going on, small groups, but you weren't isolated at all because there were other people here to do things with.
Mhm. Great. And can you tell us what advice you would give to anybody thinking about moving here to the Glen?
I think people should think about it before they feel they have to come here, that they should think about it and seriously consider it.
Mhm.
I think there's, it's a nice community. You're not stuck right here. You can come and go as you want. And it has a lot of advantages. Family are welcome to come in. You can go out, you can do what you want. So it's like an apartment someplace else, except you don't have any of the responsibilities that go along with a
Mhm.
regular apartment or a
Right.
house.
Right. And can you tell us some of the benefits that you really enjoy living here?
Well, I think like other people had said, the staff is very kind and very thoughtful and considerate. And the other residents have been very nice. And it's a nice, friendly community. There's things going on. I went to an exercise class before. Now I walk down the hall. It's a good thing,
Mhm.
especially on a cold, snowy day. And there's advantages to having things here. It doesn't exclude you from other things. So you can come and go and do as you want.
Great. Great. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. I really appreciate it. At this time, we'll open it up to questions from anybody that's attending our meeting today. Yes, hi. Oh, I think you're muted.
Hello? You hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to get into some more detail about the mechanics of when to sell your house, or people put it on the market before they move, or being very conservative. I feel like I probably would want to wait for a while after I move in until I actually sell the house. I'm wondering, and I'm also from a real estate question, where are the people coming from? Are most of the people coming from Queensbury? And how is that going to affect the market as far as when to sell?
You have a couple of options when it comes to listing your house. It really depends on your comfort. If you're thinking about, if you, I guess, don't need the money to move forward to something else, you can definitely have, organized senior moves come pack up everything for you and move you into someplace. And then put your house in the market if that makes it more comfortable. And that way you're not inconvenienced in any way. But you can also list your house and put it on the market when you're still living there. So there's two ways to kind of go about it. It really just depends on your financial situation. Did that kind of answer your question?
That's one of them. Like, how many people are going to be moving in from Queensbury? So
there's a lot of local people. We are seeing people from downstate that are moving upstate, but we are seeing a lot of local people as well. For example, I put 3 houses on the market last week and all of them sold to local people. It's a lot of younger families that are either in apartment living right now that decided that this is the time that they want to be homeowners, or people that have had a house that have been on the fence about upgrading and going bigger, and they know they can get more for their house now, so they'll sell their existing house and move into something a little bit bigger.
see, one of the I'm thinking that when everything is completed, that there's going to be 28 units that people are going to be moving into. So how does that affect the real estate market? If all of a sudden there's like 28 homes that are probably of larger size that are going to be put on the market.
Is he meaning here? Oh, okay. So I can hand that over to you. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Valerie.
So with our new residents moving into our new expansion apartments, and Barbara has worked on this a lot with me, Barbara Rudeman. So Barbara, please, jump in if you have anything to add. But we've seen a lot of it. There's a mixture of where our new residents are coming from. We do have some internally that are looking for some larger apartments. We have internal residents. We also have a lot of local residents that have been on our wait list for some time. And then we do have a few from out of the area that are moving from different areas. I know a few from downstate. Barbara, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, a little bit. Hi, George. Hi,
Hi.
Irene. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. And Irene, she's here too.
I said that. Hi, Irene.
Okay.
And yes, I totally agree with what Val says about the mix of people coming, but I wouldn't stress too much about the 28 hitting the market at the same time, honestly, because those people that are reserved on the garden units, and you're going to get to meet them next week, hopefully. But those people are going to know well in advance what your timeline is, and there's going to be staggered move-ins for that new wing anyway. We couldn't just have everybody run to us with suitcases at the same time. So you'll have plenty of notice ahead of time of what your timeline is, whether we can accommodate. If you're one of the people that wants to be early on the front end and we say yes to that, then you're going to have plenty of notice for that. So, and the other part of it is, quite frankly, for years we've been doing, it's not a loan, but it's a crossover opportunity for people who may have a contracted house, but they don't have the equity funds. And for that, we're able to give them an extra time period, short, but interest-free, as an opportunity for them to still move into your unit and then take most of the equity from the house when it sells. So over the course of the 20 years, this is our 20th year anniversary, everybody. I'd just like to say that. We've done a ton of those, and this is certainly not our first dance on getting people from where you are to where you're going to be. We will be there.
Thank you, Barbara.
When somebody, says they're moving and they're going to have a lot of stuff that's still left in their old house, and they want to get rid of it. What's the experience that you've seen? Is how long it takes to do that?
Hi, we see it all the time, and it's a process as far as getting rid of things. First, we always say family first. Okay, make sure your children, you're getting everything that you want out of the house. And then after that, we work with great buyout guys, estate people, and also donations. Michelle handles a lot of our donations as to how to get rid of things, how much time it takes, and how easy we make it for you.
I would say typically if you know exactly what you're getting rid of and you've already made the downsizing and the separation process, it takes between 2 and 3 weeks to actually get rid of everything. As long as you are completely aware of everything that is going and your stuff is all already removed from the situation. Earlier, I think you asked about whether you could sell your house first or whether you put your house on the market first. Or you move first. And if you were to move first and leave everything that you didn't want in the house, our very first step would be to contact an estate sale person if you wanted to have an estate sale person. That takes about 2 weeks to set up and get rolling. If there wasn't enough for an estate sale, we have a buyout where a gentleman comes in, he looks at everything that you want to get rid of, and he offers you a cash price on either the entire bulk set or items that he wants. After that would be donations, where again, we work with great local donation sites. We have a whole list that we've cultivated throughout the years that we've been doing this. So we know exactly who takes what time they take it, what they're not taking. What they're not taking, old paint cans, old mattresses, items like that, that have no resale value, that would end up being a rubbish removal. So I'd say all in all, we can get rid of things in as little as 2 weeks if everything is perfect. But I would say give yourself a good month to get rid of things, especially right now. The market is saturated. Donation sites are backed up. They can't pick up things right now. Estate sales, we have a few estate sale companies that we work with. They are backed up. They have no availability for June. So right now, if you want an estate sale in June, you're going to be running it yourself unless you find another company, because they are booking into August right now. And even that is limited. Donation sites, we're just seeing everybody's backed up. We're talking about movers. So I would say as soon as you know that you want to make this move, start making the preparations, because it's never too early to get started. Like Lori said earlier, start cleaning out that junk drawer tonight.
Just one more question here. For things like tractor and snow blower and ladders and things that might be useful to the people that are buying your house, do they usually get sold, or do people usually leave them for the people that are moving in?
Depending on who is buying your house, what we can sometimes do is you can have, we call it like a side deal, and you can say, you know, I'd like $200 for the tractor, or I'll leave the ladder for free. You know, we can usually negotiate those things. Or if you don't want anything for them, which is extremely generous, a lot of times they'll be willing to take those and appreciate them.
Okay.
Hey, any other questions?
Here.
Okay.
We think that we're placing a lot of value in having food preparation on site, someplace to go and eat. Is that important to folks that already live there? Nobody has spoken about that, and we're wondering if it's something we're going to outgrow quickly, or is it important?
Dining services, how important is that? And is it something that you would outgrow, or is that something you still enjoy?
Well, one of the benefits of moving here to Virginia was she didn't have to cook anymore.
That's right.
If that answers your question. But yeah, there are meal plans, and I'm sure you can look at the brochure to see what the meal plans that are available and what's best for you. But there's not going to be much of a need for cooking at all, unless you just love to cook and you want to cook for your neighbors. Is that your question? Did I answer your question? No? Oh, okay. Maybe these guys got more.
Yes.
Same thing. Most of us get our breakfast. They don't serve breakfast. They may put out some little goodie to munch on, but you get your breakfast in your apartment. Most of us get our lunch in the apartment, but you do have a lunch meal plan. But the dinners in the evening, I think, have been terrific. And there's always a choice. There's the standard one for the week that's on that you could order separately, or there's always at least 2 on the menu to choose from, with various vegetables, desserts, and so forth. Soups, and so you can't go wrong. I'm sure of it. That's my feeling. Joyce?
Yeah, oh, that's.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
One thing for sure, that you are well fed.
Yes.
You won't be starved. You will be very happy.
We all gain weight when we first come.
Desserts are wonderful.
Great. Any other questions? Oh,
Somebody's
yes.
got a hand up.
Jane?
On the food, is there a chef on site or is the food brought in?
Chef on site.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Everything is prepared here.
Okay.
Any others?
I have one for Aaron. We're talking about that it's a seller's market. I totally agree with that, but has this impacted the time frame and qualification criteria for people getting mortgages? Does it take longer now, Aaron, than it used to for mortgage approval?
It is taking a little bit longer. So typically we are pushing out our closing dates from 6 to 8 weeks. Now we're doing about 8 to 10, just because with the market the way that it is, everything is backed up. So
If you,
originators-
I'm sorry, if you have more than one offer on your home,
Mhm.
and that's highly likely at this time.
Yep.
And one of the buyers, let's say it's the second offer, but they get approved sooner, can the seller take that person, or does it have to be a chronology of who wrote the offer first?
So typically is if we have more than one offer, we say we are in multiple offers. And at that point, depending on the number of offers that you have an opportunity to either negotiate each offer separately or say, I would like everyone's highest and best offer by, say, Sunday at 2 o'clock. And all the offers will come together, put in their highest bid, their best foot forward, and then we review all offers. We typically look at, when we're deciding on an offer, obviously the price, the financing, the contingencies, which are mortgage, inspection, closing dates, things like that. And then if they are doing a mortgage, that's when once we have a signed contract and it's through the attorney review process, that's when they start the approval process. Some banks move quicker than others, and we know this. But typically they don't start the attorney the mortgage process until after there's a signed contract.
But aren't most buyers coming in as pre-qualified financially?
Right now, if you're not pre-approved and ready to go, you're in a very, very, you're not in a strong position. And most realtors at this point are not showing houses to anyone that's not pre-approved because we don't have time.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to go home and, take the few days to get pre-approved. Unfortunately, like right now, when you look at a house, you need to make a decision fairly quickly on if this is the house for you or not, because if you're writing an offer, there's 3 other offers right behind you. Does that kind of answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yep.
I have another question.
Okay.
When you were talking about the value of houses, or when she was talking about the value a year ago, the sound was breaking up. And my computer just said that my computer is unstable. So can you hear me?
Now I can. Yep.
Okay. I'm interested in knowing how much the value has increased in the last year.
So locally values increased by about 20 to 25% pre-COVID. So price wise, we were saying 20 to 30,000 pre-COVID, and that's your price. A lot of times they're going up.
I'll show you the minuscule trick.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead. You're on.
Go ahead, Jane.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was playing with a little hand raised. It's just,
Yeah.
I just learned how to do that the other day. If we had, let's say, put in a request for a house or cottage, and we were on your waiting list for a year and a half, whatever it is, and all of a sudden you call and you say, we've got one for you. Well, we couldn't have sold our house a year and a half ago. What is the grace period where we say we come up, we see it, we love it, we want it? What's kind of a grace period do we have to get rid of our home?
Barbara, do you want to answer that?
Sure.
Okay.
Jane, you'd be putting down a deposit. depending on the unit, how much it would be, but let's just pick a number and say it's $20,000. That money is going to go into an escrow account, and that money will remain fully refundable. And you will have 60 days to either move into the unit, release it, take a full refund, or do what I was speaking about, saying, we're the Brockways, we know we definitely want to come, so we're going to give another $20,000 deposit, and we will pay you in installments, Glenn at Highland Meadows, until we get the equity fully out of the sale of our home. So there's,
Okay.
yeah, there's plenty of options. It's a minimum of 60 days that you would have. And with
Okay, so you have a minimum of 6, that's a long time.
Yes, it
because
is.
You're gonna know.
It's very,
Well, we live in an area where in our neighborhood, there's a waiting list with realtors to buy in this neighborhood, but but you know, but when you hear it's taking all this time with closings and all,
Yeah.
it's not all up to us, it's up to whoever's buying our house.
I honestly think
So-
historically, one of the things we've been most successful at is being empathetic and understanding of people's situations. I always say to people, it's not a straight line from point A to point B.
No.
We're very good at following the path that it needs to take to
Okay.
get you there.
Thank you, that answers my question.
I'll take my hand down too.
Okay. So it doesn't look like we have any more questions. Not missing anybody? Okay. Well, I'd like to thank our presenters today for coming in. It was very useful information. And our residents, thank you so much for taking your time to come in and to speak to our audience today. And to our audience, thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions, you can always contact myself or Barbara Rudeman. I'm sure you have our phone numbers, and we'd be happy to help with anything we can. Great. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you all.